That juicy flesh inside, absolutely lovely. Get your finger, open up that pocket there, let all that flavour really penetrate through. That's it, just rub that in there. That's lovely. Rubbing that in, that oil. Oh, I can't beat it. On the top there like that. There it is, beautiful. And then work that into your meat. Give your meat a good old rub.
Mayhem's food works a bit like luxury goods in Civilization. It's important for your population growth, it's scattered across the map, and you need a building if you want to tap it. Since population is directly tied to production speed and production is your only way to get decent numbers of ships and equipment, you will have to deal with the food system eventually. When Mayhem creates a game world, all food types get distributed randomly across all sectors in your galaxy. These resources can only be exploited by outposts. This works for you, the player, and also for NPC outposts. The sector location always determines which kind of food an outpost needs in order to grow a population. In turn, the outpost will always produce a different food which will be needed in another sector. Food production is always higher than food consumption. If every sector had an outpost, the whole game world would have an abundance of food. But of course not everything has been tapped, and very often food is not evenly distributed. Local shortages are common. The purpose of this system is to stimulate trade and give ships another reason to ferry goods between outposts. You can see food as an analogy if you like. Veggies, meat and fish are essentially just an abstraction for all goods a healthy population always needs. So how do you get food? Well, eventually your empire will be big enough to cover all different food items. But early in the game this is not possible. Especially your first sector can be tricky. To get food you usually need to import it. Go watch the video about buying stuff with your outpost. Maybe you're lucky and get a pair of sectors which cover their respective food requirements perfectly. Building a second outpost is free, but it takes a lot of time. Time which might be better spent building your first factories and start to sell stuff and earn some money. If you have already gathered some cash during your ascension, you can usually resort to food imports until you get another compatible outpost up and running. I recommend to import food with traders of your own. They can buy food at average price level from NPC outposts. If you let NPC traders do the hauling to your outpost, it will cost you the maximum price due to how your outpost's auto-pricing script is trying to attract traders. Importing food can cost you quite a bit, but you also generate food which you can sell too. One thing to keep in mind is that you can't simply dock a ship at an NPC outpost and buy food manually. You have to use Mayhem-specific trade tools to do that. And in some cases you might be out of luck entirely. You can always pull your Joker card called No Food Consumption Perk. It completely disables the need for food on any outpost, but of course at the cost of a perk slot. In general, you might want to avoid choosing this perk, but early in the game it is clearly better than its reputation. Because it's an easy solution which saves you a lot of headache and it's always available. You should seriously consider to disable food consumption on your first outpost, especially if it is able to support a high maximum population. But also remember that you most likely won't be able to use any sophisticated setups on these outposts anymore. Setups which require a lot of perk points, like a shipyard with integrated weapon and shield factories and everything at full speed.
Rum, boy, does that make a difference.